terrifying story about an Ouija board. I got a call from my cousin who said that he, his brother, his dad, and his best friend were using an Ouija in their basement. Prior to starting, they took a large porcelain doll out of the room because it was creepy and placed it in an adjacent room face down on a pile of towels. My cousin took a short break because the board was just spouting nonsense and he went to take a shit. His dad and brother and friend started asking the board questions without him. One of the questions was who is in the other room. It just started spouting random numbers, and when my cousin came back into the room, his brother said that it wasn't working, that they were going to put it away, and he showed him the answer to the last question he asked, and he said, "Dude, that's my social security number." Then they started to talk to whatever started spewing answers out. It told my cousin he would die in the Air Force. At this point, they tell the entity they are communicating would prove itself. It then spelled out the word doll, and they were like, "What the fuck?" They opened the door to check on the porcelain doll they had laid in the other room, and when they opened the door, the doll was standing up right in front of the door, staring right at them. Everyone freaked and ran out of the house. His best friend burned the Ouija board, and I think it temporarily went nuts for a few months. My cousin, for some reason then, joined the Air Force and is on a base in Europe now. We all asked it a question that only the person asking would know the answer to. It would answer the questions. One question that somebody asked was, "What was the name of the boat I went on a cruise on when I was 6?" And it answered. We played with this thing forever. We had cold spot experiences and would place a candle where the cold spot was, and the candle would burn sideways, not straight up and down. One night, we all asked it how long we had left to leave. And this is where it gets scary. Everybody asked, and they had more than 56 years left. I go to ask, and it says 10. I ask 10 years, and it says days. I'm pretty much at a break at this point. It said I was gonna be killed in a car accident by a girl named Emma. We would ask it 3 days later, and it would say I had 7 days left. Ask it 2 days later, it said I would have 5 days left, and so on. I'm freaking out at this point, carrying a Bible in my pocket and wearing a big cross. I finally tell my dad, and he doesn't believe me. So I made one out of a piece of paper and I used a CD to show him. It worked, and he flipped it out and told me that I didn't have to go to school the day I was supposed to die. I didn't go to school and nothing happened. My girlfriend told me this story about an experience she had with a Ouija board while in high school sometime in 1986. She had a friend named Johnny who was suffering from CF or some other debilitating illness, who had recently been hospitalized as a result. Both she and her friend Shelley visited Johnny regularly in the hopes of keeping his spirits up. and for a quick recovery. One night, after visiting Johnny, they were at Chili's when they decided to try out an Ouija board. After a while, they started communicating with a spirit who seemed to know a lot about them that it really shouldn't. After some banal questions about boys and general questions one would expect teenage girls to ask, my girlfriend decided to ask about Johnny and his condition. The board quickly spelled out 24 June 1987. Johnny won't have to worry anymore, and went to goodbye. My girlfriend and Shelley were so convinced that board was giving them a date for recovery that they actually wrote the message down and sealed it in an envelope. The following year, on 24 June, it turned out that Johnny indeed no longer needed to worry about his condition. It was the day he died.